Are we on? All right, we are on. What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us again on another beautiful Thursday. Our weather's looking kind of crazy out there right now. For the show, just talking. I want to introduce Mr. Rush real quick. I kind of always rush into this thing for some reason. I'm always nervous at the beginning. It doesn't seem to matter how many times I do this. Mr. Rush, how are you doing this week? How's
Doing
your week
wonderful.
going?
How you doing?
It's been pretty good, man. Pretty good. You know, I just try to stay busy, and you know, most of the projects I'm working on, man, we just try to keep things grooving. You know what I mean?
Moving for the moving,
Yeah.
baby.
Well, thank you, sir, for working Master Control and you know, being my #1 fan in here because you're my live audience every
Thumbs
time.
up.
This is great. We do have a special guest with us today on through via Zoom. Is Mr. Albert Rivas. You know, Mr. Rivas, how are you doing, sir? Before I jump into all that, because I was going to say.
Yes, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good. No complaints. As I always tell everybody, it doesn't do any good anyway. It just kind of, it upsets people around you and makes them feel like, you're kind of annoying and all that. And so, I might talk a lot, but I don't complain a lot.
We got something in common then. We both talk a lot, and we don't get annoying at all.
At all, man. It's other people's problem, right? It's not us.
Yeah,
It's not an us thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. So for anybody who doesn't know who you might be, and what you might be affiliated with as far as Young Professionals of Lawton go, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know what your title is and what you guys do?
Yeah, and you're talking in the terms of Young Professionals of Lawton?
Yeah. Or
so
anything else you might be affliated with for that matter. We got your time right now, man. You're stuck with us right now. You're going to answer all the questions.
Hey, I got to take it any time I can get. My name's Albert Rivas, and I am the current chairman for the Young Professionals of Lawton. We are working on year 4 of being an existing organization here in Lawton, Fort Sill. And we have a board of an amazing group of individuals from, House Representative Daniel Pay, from Tara Devers, who's the past chair, to Vincent Saylor, who owns an insurance agency here in town, who's my vice chair, from Brandy Sims, who you just had in your last episode, who's the vice president over at the Lawton Fort Sill Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great individuals from nonprofit industries to banking industries to insurance industries to politics. And what our whole goal is to make sure that we're providing things in Lawton for young individuals to do, but also to be informed and making sure that we're all involved in a way that we can enhance the livelihood of Lawton Fort Sill. What's the one thing that we always hear? There's never anything to do in Lawton. And
Right.
So young professionals need a reason to live here in this wonderful community that you work in, that I work in. And Young Professionals is part of that. We provide mentorships with current leaders who are over the age of 40 that are established, that have set themselves, who've led the way for Lawton. We offer socials every month. That way people like-minded individuals or not like-minded individuals. It's good to have all of us in the same room.
Right.
From events to a lot of the things that we've been doing here recently is government relations, hosting candidate forums, candidate Q&As or debates, or like we have coming up for community conversations, things to bridge the gap, things to say that, hey, we're an ally, anything that we can do to enhance our community, we're going to want to be a part of.
Absolutely. I can understand that. Now, with businesses specifically, what are you guys doing to help businesses go right now? Given how everything's changed and with the whole COVID thing, the mask and all that, how are you guys, as young professionals, how are you impacting other businesses around you? Or, I guess people in general, but specifically, what are you guys doing to help others kind of, go the way things are supposed to be going, I guess, supposed to be.
Right. So, community partnerships are very important. And we do realize, with COVID-19 going around and being a life changer for all of us, we have to adapt. And so a lot of the things that we're doing are virtual. What we're going to start doing are these virtual sessions where we're going to talk about media literacy, or we're going to talk about, whatever topic it might be. But most importantly, creating community partnerships so that way we're pushing local business, we're pushing local projects, local initiatives. Anything we can do virtually, we're going to do. So, for instance, the Chamber of Commerce hosts these lunch and learns. Anytime we can team up with them to be able to promote it and to be a part of it, we're going to do it because it enhances the livelihood of Lawton Fort Sill.
Right.
Or when we host our virtual trainings, or when we do the Q&As or the debates with the upcoming, elections, whether it be state or local government. We're going to have the ability to watch it from home or to be there live with social distancing in mind. The one thing we have kind of discovered is that, people are taking the necessary measures to make sure that they're safe.
Right.
And so, again, we have to adapt. And so we're looking at ways to be able to still be relevant in the community. And I think with us all being young professionals, that relevance is through technology, is through virtual atmosphere. And so that's what we're capitalizing on.
Right. I remember when, being younger and working at different jobs, and they would always say something like, you can't be on your phone while you're working. Now, some jobs, that's an obvious, it's a given. But nowadays, it's kind of like if you're not using your phone at some point during work, whatever it may be, then you're kind of like, you start to, like you said, you don't have the relevancy. You know what I mean? You don't, if you're not up to speed with where things are at for how fast they're moving on these devices, then, you're kind of, you fall off by the wayside, you know what I mean? But our generation, because of, we were brought up in the time that smartphones came about, you know what I mean? So it was, it's kind of like we have to use them now, you know what I mean? And it's cool that you guys offer so much online stuff as far as courses and training materials and all that. It's cool that you guys are all doing all of that stuff because there are a lot of people that in various age brackets that don't really have that kind of experience nonetheless in terms of how to use it efficiently and as a tool. It's entertainment for most people. So it's cool that you guys are offering those different things. As far as young professionals goes, you mentioned politics. What are some of the things going on, like specifically with local level politics right now, that the young professionals of Lawton are involved in?
Right. So, council elections are coming up as well. There's only one ward that had an opponent come up, and that's Ward 8. Randy Warren and Doug Wells who are going to be running in that election. And so, hosting a potential public forum. All of this, of course, is still in the planning stages, alongside with the virtual trainings. But also, you have, what's important to us is to make sure that we have informed voters. And so, informed voters in the sense of non-bipartisan. And what I mean is that we're not going to host a forum that only represents one side. We have to represent both sides and allow the people who are watching, especially young professionals, to decide on their own. But at least we know while they're watching, they're becoming informed, they're learning, they get to ask questions. And the other thing is that the event that we're co-hosting with the City of Lawton, with United Way, with Together Oklahoma, and Project 3000 is what we call community conversations. And Jacoby Crowley did the last one with Together Oklahoma, with a great organization called Thick Descriptions from OKC. And they went and we all went to a room, all social distancing at the Coliseum, and had a wonderful discussion. And we want to be able to continue that discussion because nothing is solved over racial equality or racial equity over one meeting. And so our goal is to continue these community conversations, for community organizations to come together and work together in order to solve Lawton's problems and find solutions, and be able to do that cohesively and as a group of Lawtonians. Citizens that work together, citizens that don't work together, that don't see each other, that may have a difference of opinion, but we do have one common goal, and that's to be able to create racial equity, racial equality, and in our community. It's a problem that's faced worldwide. But the only thing we can do is be able to enhance our area so we can set the example for other communities to do the same. And they are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree with that. I've had that conversation a number of times with people where I've told them that, I felt like something big was supposed to start here. And I feel like this is I feel like Lawton will probably end up being like the place that we start to see more kind of egalitarianism take place. You know what I mean? Where everybody is really accepting of one another because our community is just big enough that it's, it can be considered, a city as it is. But it's also small enough that we can really kind of say that we can get to know one another on a personal level still. Like we haven't broken that threshold where it's like, oh, there's just too many people. You know what I mean? Everybody I know has at some point said, oh, I know somebody who knows you, and in Lawton. It's that small of a place. So it's cool, that you guys are out there taking that stand, you know, and doing those things that the community needs. The way I see it is like,
Well,
we're really having to focus on coming to a unified understanding of things. And the more unified our understanding is, then the better it works out for everybody.
right. And, you know, the other thing that we've kind of, you know, again, I go back to community partnerships because during COVID, you know, that we have limitations as to what we can and cannot do. And so how can we as young professionals of Lawton help enhance current initiatives, you know, you don't ever want to reinvent the wheel. And
Right.
so Women That Vote Art Corporation, who's ran by Barbara Curry, she has a sculpture that will be going up in the next few years here at near I can't even think it is. It's right in front of the police station in that area where I can't even think right now. But you know, they're going to have a sculpture going there celebrating 100 years of the suffragette movement, where women couldn't vote 100 years ago. That's on August 18th.
That's
And
cool.
Barbara Curry has been a leading example, a current leader in the community, one that we call a mentor. And we're wanting to team up with those. Anything that promotes again equality and awareness of who's being oppressed. How can we help? How can young professionals help? It's our generation that we're working for, but more importantly, we're working for our future generations to have a better community. And so however we can do that, we're going to jump on it.
Oh yeah, and this is the time to do it, if ever there was a time, with all the things that are changing and as rapid pace as it's happening. This is absolutely the prime time to jump in and really start making the changes everyone's trying to make here. And you know, I'm hoping that that our city as a whole jumps on board with the energy that's going right now, because you know, it's like despite COVID, you know, our city is a train, man, and it's just mashing through it. So I think that that's awesome. What other things do you have going on? I know you're also involved in like community theater, things like that. Are there any changes going on with that you guys are like, are y'all able to perform still? Like what other aspects of your life are there that Mr. Rivas wants to divulge today?
You know, I'm a huge proponent for the arts here in Lawton Fort Sill. We have a great community of the arts, from the Arts for All Committee, the Arts for All Foundation, or, you know, International Festival, Lawton Community Theater. And, you know, COVID has definitely put a mark, their mark on everything. And the theater, community theater is one of them. And not just community theater. You look at Broadway, everything is, they can't perform right now. And it is hard. Especially whenever you're looking at a community theater that thrives on their volunteers, that thrives on performing, that thrives on pushing out good content, good plays. And so right now, you know, I can't speak fully on behalf of the theater. They do have a great team over there. Chance Harmon, who's the theater director there, Marsha Thomas, who's the president of the board. They're always looking for ways to be able to have a performance. And, you know, we've had to postpone a couple things. And so I think right now the goal is to push things one at a time as they can. So that way they're not getting anybody's hopes up if we have to cancel if there's a spike. So the important thing is that every art organization still needs your support. I know that they have some good ideas rolling through to be able to capitalize on virtual fundraising. And when that comes out from the Arts for All Foundation, please support it. If you're not following Arts for All on Facebook, Arts for All of Lawton, I believe it is, but you can, if you search Arts for All, it'll pop up. And you can follow and see what they have going on, because Arts for All is a lot like United Way. It's an organization that supports multiple art organizations in Lawton, from Lawton Community Theater to the Lawton Fort Sill Art Council, and so many others. And so funding is going to be low, and they do a lot for this community, especially student education. They do a lot of volunteer hours with students, especially in the elementary and middle school range. I know the theater just got done with Lion King. It was Lion King camp. And so whatever they can do to invest in the community, invest in the future of the arts and the theater, that's something that I think we all should support.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you might want to inform people of, let them know about, how they can get in contact with you, all of that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So if you're interested in joining Young Professionals of Lawton, the age range is 18 to 39. And you can go to yplawton.org. That's yplawton.org. There's a Become a Member button that you can click on. It's only $60 a year. On that, we'll definitely give you some discounts in the community. We're going to be working on what we call YP Member Perks, where multiple organizations are going to be offering discounts on prices. That way, there's an incentive to be a young professional in Lawton Fort Sill. But also, we have our night golf tournament coming up in September. We're going to finalize everything that in the next week or two. So follow us also on Facebook at Young Professionals of Lawton. And then I encourage, if you're over the age of 40 and want to become a mentor, we need mentors as well, and be able to kind of connect you guys with young professionals, so they can learn from you, we can learn from you, and vice versa. I always say that you should never be afraid to have three types of mentors: one that's younger than you, one that's the same age as you, and one that's older than you. Never be ashamed to have a mentor that's younger than you or older than you or the same age. You can learn from everybody.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that's the most beautiful thing about YP. We're learning, we're growing together as an organization, and helping Lawton realize its potential, and that we all have a part in that. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at afrswok@gmail.com, or find me on Facebook, Alberto F. Rivas, R-I-V as in Victor A-S, and you can hit me up on Messenger. I can always offer advice or my assistance if able. But you know as much as I do, we can't say yes to everything, even though we want to.
Right. Yep. It's funny. Every time I see your name on Facebook, I always want to say it like in this strong accent, Alberto Francisco Rivas, for some reason. I don't know. I see it, and it's just like one of those names. You know what I mean? It's like a power name. But anyway, I want to say.
If you say it, that's fine.
Say what?
I said, if you say, if you can pronounce it right, go for it. And
go.
So that's good.
Well, I appreciate you joining me, man, and letting everybody get caught up and up to speed with what Young Professionals of Lawton is doing, and Mr. Albert Rivas himself. Thank you. And you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Is ready for the next level of marketing. Having the right tools in hand can help catapult your business into the place it deserves to be. From custom commercials that are ready for broadcast to the professional voiceover that you need for your business phone recording or radio commercial, we build it all in-house. Sign up with us today and see how all of our plans offer exactly the tools that you need. And more importantly, they don't break the budget you set for marketing. Call and visit us online at lookinlawton.com today. Let's get your business to the next level. lookinlawton.com. We cover all of the details. Wax, wash, and shine, your vehicle is guaranteed to come out shining. Let us pay attention to the detail. We're here to vacuum wash and deodorize your vehicle on a professional level. Don't leave it to the other guys to miss things. We see them all. Do you have a fleet of vehicles? We're equipped to take on all the vehicles your business has too. Keep your business vehicles looking the best they can. Stop by today and schedule with us or message us on Facebook. Full Throttle Detail, located at 1601 Northwest Sheridan Road in Lawton.
Boom. We're back. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all you guys who stay and go through the break and watch the whole show. It really means a lot. If you guys comment down there, I'm going to try to respond to every single comment at some point. So make sure you're commenting down in the thread and join us in the conversation. Mr. Rush, sir, I know I asked you how your week was going, but man, we got to do something about this hot air in here. This is not working.
Need an AC?
Yeah. If you want to throw some money at the air conditioning system in here, you can feel free to do that. The cash app for that is $JPL Productions. More than happy to take them a couple bucks for that. Whew. All right. We got a good show. I got a lot of things to talk about. In the last week, there have been, what was that? Something like dust just flew in my mouth. You see this? This is horrible. So in the last week, a lot of things have happened. Some a little less notable than others, and some others, it was kind of a tough week when you talk about like deaths and stuff like that. There was quite a number of people that passed away this week that were all well-known people. One of those people being Regis Philbin. Did you know that he passed away this week?
No.
Regis Philbin, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Live with Regis and Kelly.
I'd have won, but that's crazy. No, I didn't know that.
Regis Philbin, he was 88 years old. Crazy. They said that he started his career when he was when he was young, obviously, but he started as a page and worked his way all the way up through the whole thing. This shirt is just not working with me today now. I'm not with it. The sleeves.
You go and get them cuffs.
I should have wore the other one. You need to get the cufflinks. If you want to get me some cufflinks, feel free to drop some of that cash down there. And the thing, we need to have that graphic so we can just set it up every time. Yeah, we need that. We're going to get that set up. Okay, so anyway, some other things going on this week. A few people passed away. One of those people being Regis Philbin. Another one, John Saxon. Do you know who John Saxon was? He was in Nightmare on Elm Street, and he had a role on Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. And that's probably the more notable things that he had. Not to say, somebody who kept up with his career or something, knew him a long time ago would know more of it, but just more things that I think are common to people in our age bracket, I guess. I am sweating it out, and you wouldn't think that with the weather, how it's kind of cool outside. Oh, speaking of, you said a tornado touchdown earlier?
Yeah, about 25 miles away from us.
About 25 miles away from us, a tornado apparently touched down a little bit ago. Get off me, bug. You see this?
We are in Tornado Alley.
We are in Tornado Alley, but if you are out that way towards Pumpkin Center, then you should probably be taking cover if you're not already, or if you haven't, or if it's already passed, then drop something down there and let us know so other people can be aware of what's going on also. I'm going to keep on moving on. Get off of me, fly, shoe fly. Somebody make a remix of Shoe Fly Don't Bother Me so I can play it during the show every time the fly comes up. A headless body of a pedophile was found last week on the porch of a judge. 28-year-old, I don't have his name. I didn't care to put that part in there. Who was accused of molesting his, at the time, girlfriend's 8-year-old daughter. Somehow he posted $30,000 bail, and the judge felt that he wasn't a threat to the public. So he got out, and then a few days after that or so, or maybe even a little bit longer, I'm not quite sure, I know it was just the other day, they found his body decapitated on her porch. That's crazy. Nobody's playing right now about this child molestation thing going on. With all this stuff coming out, man, that's not the thing that you want to have charges on you for. I mean, not to say with anything else that's coming out, that would be something that you'd be like, oh, that over that. That's like the last thing you want. But especially right now, it's like the time of the righteous right now. Because if you're associated with anything even remotely similar, you got your time coming is what it seems like. And, I'm cool with that. So, yeah, anyway, that's crazy. But I think the crazier part is that not the idea of somebody killing this guy, but posting his body up on this judge's porch. That's extremely bold. That's just not something that somebody makes a decision to do without either having a plan to get away with it or knowing they're going to get away with it or not caring. If they didn't care to get caught, then, I guess that's what it is. But that's, I don't know. I wouldn't chance no judge like that. That's just not how I would roll. We had this conversation the other day, and I made sure to notate it, me and Mr. Rush. It's about democracy versus republic, right? So we talked the other day, and in our discussion, we had to acknowledge the fact that America is not a democracy. We are a democracy in the fact that we like to handle things where we come to consensus of things and we agree to things or whatever, vote on them, but we're a republic. So what's the difference between the two of those? A republic is essentially when it's for the people and it's by the people. So that means basically the people make the rules for the people. That includes everybody that's people. Like if you have, if you're a human, you're the people. Whereas a democracy is basically chosen by the people so that we can be overseen by the government. that's not exactly how things work here. Like, we as the people hold the power. We're really starting to see that now, especially, like we were talking about with Mr. Rivas a minute ago. People are coming together in different ways now. The idea of a changing government is terrifying to some people because they're like, you can't take my rights from me, you can't do this, you can't do that, I've got the Constitution. But if you look at our existence, as we've progressed as beings, it looks like we're supposed to evolve, right? So looking at things and saying, okay, we're a democracy, which we're really not, or we're a republic, we can look at them and say, what aspects of both of these things do we like? And we can reframe our government if we need to. That's why it's set up the way it is. It's not completely to destroy it and disassemble it. It's created in such a way that we can use it. You see what I'm saying? So if we use it, we can reshape it into something that's better for all of us. I think if all of us start to look at things as egalitarians, I think that we would find ourselves in a better position. So an egalitarian, it sounds something, I don't know, off the wall maybe, but egalitarian essentially just kind of comes down to us looking at everybody as equals. We're all equals. Now, some people are going to chime in with their socialism stuff, and while there are good ideas that can come about through socialist like thinking, for instance, the welfare program and all this stuff. I had this debate with somebody the other day. There are good aspects of socialism. The idea in general is something that should be able to benefit everyone, given that everyone pitches in the same effort. If they don't pitch in the same effort, then how could it possibly ever work, socialism? It really can't. It's funny how I went into that from talking about what the other two, the difference between them are. And I guess it's because I don't really care about those too much. I like the idea of a republic, for the people, by the people. We need that. I don't necessarily like the idea of being overseen, though. So I'm for the small government, and big for people. But I like the egalitarian approach because if I look at everyone as equal, then they really get what they deserve. We work for what we work for, but yet we treat each other the same, equal across the board. That's not the same as saying that if I go to work for both of us, that you don't necessarily have to, but you'll still get the equal share. What it is saying that we really have an equal opportunity. We're really able to look at each other as same across the board, if that makes sense. Where was I going with that? See, this is just one of those times. All right, I'm going to move on to something else because that's going to become one of those tangent talks. That's a whole different show. Tangent talks. That's a different one. We should start that. And you'd be like, what were they talking about through that show? And it'd be like 60 things that we were talking about. I think that could work. September 12th, 2020, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Who you going for? I want y'all to drop it down in the comment thread down there. Who are you going for? I'm a Mike Tyson guy. My money's on Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson. Beast. And don't get me wrong, Roy Jones Jr. is a beast. But I don't know, man. If the young Mike comes out in the old Mike body, but he's able to move like young Mike, I think he's got his hands full. Mr. Rush, what do you think?
Mike is impregnable,
Said he's what?
Mike is impregnable.
Impregnable? I don't know if your mic's coming on. I don't see any.
Oh, yeah, it's there. Oh, no. All right, look. There you go. You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
What I said was Mike Tyson is impregnable.
He's impregnable.
That's what he said. He said he impregnable. So that means he can't be impregnated. So he finna knock him out.
He's finna knock him out. Long story short, he can't be impregnated.
I'm impregnable. Look it up.
Look it up. You'll see it. It's a clip. But yeah, no, my money's on Mike. It's on Mike. If you think Roy Jones Jr. is going to win, let me know why you think that. Who knows? It's in the air, I guess. But my money's on Mike. I'm going to move on. Ghislaine Maxwell. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. But we'll talk about this with regards to Ghislaine Maxwell. So the other day, now I don't know the entire context of this conversation, but the other day, Donald Trump was asked by a reporter basically what he thought about the the whole Ghislaine Maxwell situation. And he was quoted for saying, "I wish her the best." And then they said, "You wish her the best, something or the other?" And he was like, "Again, I wish her the best." Like, I can understand where people's sensitivity is at to this. So I'm like, why would you wish her the best unless, you had some sort of affiliation with her, perhaps? It's like a friend of yours. I don't know, something like that. Maybe you wish them the best. But, like, given the charges and stuff like that or the accusations that are being pinned on her right now, I don't know if I'd wish her the best. But, I also wouldn't wish her the worst, though. So I'm going to look at it like, I wish you what you deserve. That's the way I'd put it. I got another one on here. Something. Talked about that one. Not that one. Oh, Mel Gibson. We'll talk about this briefly real quick before the break because we're about to jump out to one. Mel Gibson went public the other day with his COVID experience. Apparently he had COVID-19. Most people didn't know it because he kept it under wraps for weeks, but he was hospitalized for a week back in April after he had tested positive. He's tested negative several times since then, but apparently it was a bad ordeal that he decided to go public and let people know that he did have it. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be right back. Make sure you hit that share button. Hit that like button for me. When we're on live, like, you can hit that button a lot of times and it goes bloop, 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 makes a lot of cool little bubbles. Do that. Hit some of them for me. Just make them random or something. I don't care. But hit the share button and don't go nowhere. See you in a minute.
Baby into Just for Canines and Kitty too. We have all of the best items for your cat, dog, pup, or kitten in stock. From pet beds to toys, we have everything you can think of. We carry the best selection of pet hygiene products and a huge selection of cat and dog foods. Spoil your pet by letting us give them the full treatment from massage to complete bath and grooming. We also offer our mobile grooming services. Be sure to stop in today or give us a call. Just for Canines and Kitty too, your pet's favorite place to go. Your small business is ready for the next level of marketing. Having the right tools in hand can help catapult your business into the place it deserves to be. From custom commercials that are ready for broadcast to the professional voiceover that you need for your business phone recording or radio commercial, we build it all in-house. Sign up with us today and see how all of our plans offer exactly the tools that you need. And more importantly, they don't break the budget you set for marketing. Call and visit us online at lookandlawton.com today. Let's get your business to the next level. lookandlawton.com.
There it is. Now you can hear me. That's the most important part of the show. Not just seeing me, you got to hear me because, it's just talking, not miming. It wouldn't do so good. And I don't know sign language, so I would probably just confuse the shit out of people, to be honest. Look, what is he trying to tell people? And it would just be chaos. Could you imagine that? It'd be chaos. No, I'm just playing. So anyway, thank you guys for coming back. We got some more things to talk about here. And I'm going to, kind of pick through these a little bit. The Indiana governor. The Indiana governor is, now I'm not sure if he did already or not, but he might have. But he's supposed to sign an executive order to make not wearing a mask a Class B misdemeanor, which is punishable with a fine and up to 6 months in jail. So I don't understand, I don't get how if you're not wearing a mask still, you're not. I don't understand why. Most places have mandated it by now. I'm surprised if everywhere hasn't, but most places have. If you're not wearing one, I'm just curious why not. It just doesn't really make sense. At this point, you should at least understand that other people are concerned enough that you should wear one for their sake, which is why it was mandated. Here's the thing that concerns me the most about this is that the longer we see this kind of thing take place, the more it can be shaped into something that doesn't work out to its truth. So you might have some places where a lot of people aren't wearing masks, so they have to, put these drastic punishments. I think 6 months in jail is quite a bit of time for not wearing a mask. Don't get me wrong, I understand the consequences that come with it, but man, that's a very different kind of consequence. But, you know, some people are like, yeah, but, you know, if you die, or if you kill somebody because you didn't wear a mask and they get sick, then that's a hell of a consequence. That's very true. But for somebody to get sick, like, that's outside of their control. If it was just something, say somebody's wearing a mask and they still get someone sick, because that is possible, you're not going to punish them. You know, they took a measure. Now, if somebody didn't wear a mask and say they didn't have the virus, they just somehow got it on their clothes, maybe they shedded it off or something. Who knows? You can carry them a number of different ways. If somebody gets sick, you would have to test that person and them test positive, and then you say, hey, you killed somebody. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't accuse somebody of something so drastic as saying that you are the reason that this person died, without that person also being at risk of it themselves. You know, and people are going to be like, well, what about asymptomatic carriers? Okay, if you're an asymptomatic carrier, I get it. But at the same time, like, in most cases, most people aren't asymptomatic carriers. Now, 70% of people are asymptomatic in quotations, but we've had this conversation before where asymptomatic really is pre-symptomatic. Most people just don't realize they had symptoms. It was very brief or very minuscule. They just don't realize that the time that they broke a little sweat, that they had a slight fever for about 4 or 5 minutes, maybe not even that long. That was it. So, you know, otherwise you're walking around and you didn't know this whole time that you could have been carrying it. And it could be the one time that you go outside and happen to sneeze and, you know, the wind carries that off, because we also know it's airborne. And once the wind carries that off and it happens to travel its journey of 9 days before it dies, at least according to the old reports about it, there's no telling who it could infect. So I get punishing somebody, hit them with that $600, boom. But 6 months in jail, like, hell, give them a month in jail. I'm sure they're going to learn the lesson. But 6 months, half of a year, taking them from their family, taking them from their job, taking them from everything that they're already losing as it is, that's just a lot. That's a lot for us to be talking about coming together for things. We want people to understand why they need to wear the mask. We don't want them to hate and despise the people making them or asking them to do it. It just doesn't make sense. I get the point, but 6 months, that's overkill to me. I wouldn't be okay with that. I would absolutely stand up against that particular portion of that. I'm not against the fine, and I'm not against even, say, some jail time, but that's just too long. There's too many other side effects that can come with that, you know, for the intent to be, hey, learn your lesson. I'm going to move on from there. 600,000 military personnel and associates, or people that were associated with the military, they've been told that they had COVID-19, and it turns out that they didn't. TRICARE, the insurer that is the provider for all of them, called it an error. 600,000 positive cases to military personnel and their families and people associated with them. And then it turns out they were wrong. Now, that's a hell of a mistake. How do you make a mistake of 600,000? That almost sounds to me like it's extremely questionable. I mean, that's a lot of yes, 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 yes. All right, good to go? Boom, and we're back. See that? There was a technical difficulty real quick. Mr. Rush is getting good at this, man. He fixed that pretty quick. See that? Skills. I did that other thumbs up one for that thumbnail for that other video we did. And I look kind of ridiculous doing the thumbs up. I need somebody, send me your thumbs up picture, and we might use it for the next thumbnail, the thumbs up. So go ahead and do that. Start dropping those in the thread. I'm eager to see if y'all, I'm eager to see what kind of thumbs up we get. And keep it kid friendly, just in case, okay? Let's, you know, thumbs up. Okay, moving on. See, and I had photos, Steve Bing, close friend of the Clintons, is found dead. Bum, bum, bum. He was also one of their, actually he was their biggest donor throughout all these years of knowing them
What's
for
the
almost
body
all
count?
their organizations. Say what?
What's the body count?
They're up in the hundreds. Yeah,
Crazy.
it was ruled a suicide. Immediately upon arrival of the police, they found him outside of, if I'm not mistaken, a hotel. It was either a hotel or a building he owned. I can't remember, but most likely probably a building he owned. But he was dead. They said he jumped, killed himself. Supposedly, some people are saying that he was talking about how he was depressed because COVID had him locked inside, but the city he lived in doesn't have it where it's mandated that you can't go anywhere, so like he could come and go as he pleased as long as he wore a mask. So it's not like there was, this legit reason for him to necessarily feel like he couldn't leave. But that's what they're saying. Of course, I'm not close to him, so I couldn't tell you the truth behind that. I'm just telling you, I'm just bringing you the information. That's nuts. This guy and he's like one of their close friends. He said, what's the body count? That's so horrible that we can even say that about our politicians. That is utterly disgusting, and it instantly wipes the smile off of my face. Because how can we look at people who are our current politicians, former politicians, any of this stuff that's going on right now, and just act like things are okay? There's a reason that everything's going how it's going right now, because the people forgot that the people are the ones who make all the decisions. And we started letting a bunch of other less people make the decisions for us because we give them titles. We give them titles. We vote most of these people into their positions, and then they have the authority to hire and fire underneath them for the positions that are necessary to fulfill their jobs. We have to start looking for people who really are concerned for people and about people, and realize that they are a person as well, and they're not beyond people, and we also need to start looking at things like term limits on every position almost. If it's got to do with government and putting laws in place or representing the people, we need to look at term limits for these things that don't have them. For instance, like Congress. It just doesn't make any sense, for things to really be as crazy as they are today. It's going to take all of our real efforts and continuous efforts to make these things that we want to change. I am going to also, I went blank. I'm going to move on. So the Clintons' homeboy, my condolences to his family. But who's to say what the hell really happened there? Some Oklahomans, I'm sure you guys have seen this already, are receiving random packets of seeds that are coming from China. Do not plant them. Don't plant those seeds. Why? Do you know what they are? No. Don't plant them. They could be literally anything. And they don't, because the packages are coming and they're saying things like jewelry or whatever, and it's packets of seeds. Don't plant them. Don't even open the package. The real shit is don't open the package. Because if you don't know what's on it, you could literally, it could be anthrax in there or something with these seeds. Who knows? There could be 10 million different chemical agents inside this thing. You could toss them out in the yard and plant them. They could completely take over your entire garden, your whole living space area, because of the type of plants they are. Speaking of crazy plants, what is this plant called? If you happen to know the name of this, drop it down there. Have you seen this plant, Mr. Rush? Okay, this plant, get off of me. This plant looks like a blob of flesh, and as it grows, it like tears open, and it's got like these tentacle looking things. It's crazy looking. And they say it smells of rotted flesh is what it smells like. You know what it looks like? Rotted flesh.
I've never, what do they call it, a zombie flower? Or something?
I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember, but it's, yeah, that's a... All right, we are back. I think the weather is messing stuff up right now. I'm not really sure. It keeps dropping signal and having to pick back up. But I think we're okay for now. We're going to go ahead and give this a shot, try to finish the show out. It is 6:45, so we've only got a few minutes left anyway. jump straight into this. Study finds COVID, we got some more COVID talk. Study finds 6 types of COVID-19 based on symptoms. Now, I don't think that they're saying that they're actually classifying it as different types, but they're seeing 6 different sets of symptoms that are coming up based on, I guess, whatever type they're classifying it as. So they're basically saying if you got these symptoms, you fall with this type, or this type, or this type, and so on. So those symptoms are, here's the clusters that they're calling it. Flu-like with no fever, flu-like with a fever, gastrointestinal, severe level 1 fatigue, severe level 2 confusion, and severe level 3 abdominal and respiratory. So to kind of break those down, for flu-like with no fever, you're talking about, they're saying that symptoms are headache, loss of smell, muscle pains, cough, sore throat, chest pain, and no fever. So see, you can be sick and not have a fever and have other things going on. Flu-like with the fever is obviously going to have a fever, headache, loss of smell, cough, sore throat, hoarseness, and then loss of appetite. So make sure you're paying attention for these things, or if anybody around you says that they're experiencing any of these, tell them to be cautious of their health and well-being. Gastrointestinal is headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, diarrhea, sore throat, chest pain, and no cough. Severe level 1 fatigue is headache, loss of smell, cough, fever, hoarseness, chest pain, fatigue, and then severe level 2 confusion. See, and that's the thing. They said that for some patients they're having like schizophrenic episodes. You know, they're saying it's messing with their brain a lot, causing people to hallucinate and stuff also. Severe level 2 confusion is headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, cough, fever, hoarseness, sore throat, chest pain, fatigue, confusion, and by confusion, I think that's what they're referring to, and then muscle pains. And then the last one, severe level 3, abdominal respiratory, is headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, cough, fever, hoarseness, sore throat, chest pain, fatigue, confusion, muscle pain, shortness of breath, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So basically everything wrapped up with a couple of extras in there. That's horrible. We got to watch out for everything. Everything is a symptom. I don't think if you're having a sore throat or something, just run to the doctor or just go get tested. If you're exuding different symptoms, play it safe. Do what you got to do. But at the same time, don't put yourself in the position to go get something just because you panicked. Don't panic. Just, your body better than anybody else will ever know your body. So watch it. Take care of it. The other day, police spent 5 hours breaking up a 700-person party in New Jersey that was in violation of one of the governor's executive orders limiting the size of gatherings. They limited size of gatherings to 500 people. There were 700 people at this party, and this was an Airbnb that was rented out. They had a hell of a party, it sounds like, 5 hours. I'm pretty sure the police probably could have cleared that out a little bit faster than that, but it's a party, man. And all the things going on today, even they want to probably party a little bit. What do you think, Mr. Rush?
I would definitely be partying.
I mean, everybody, let's move. Let's
Keep the party going.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. You can move a little slower. You move faster. Yeah, so that home was a 3,700 square foot home. So that's a big ass house they threw this party in. And apparently, obviously, it spilled out all over the street and there was one report.
That turned into a block party. That was a block party.
Yeah, bro. Of course it was. So the 2 people who organized the party got fined, and the homeowner got fined also because he allowed for them to do this. I don't think that they expected it to get that big. He said by the time 200 to 300 people showed up, he left. And then he ended up getting fined anyway.
Hold on. How big was that house?
3,700 square feet. It's a monster size
And you
house.
left a party at your house? Wow, that's rich.
It was an Airbnb, and he rented it to the people throwing the party. So he wasn't really supposed to just stay there, but he gave them the go-ahead to do the party, apparently. And, yeah.
Wow.
Onlookers decided to call the police when they saw how big the party was getting and that nobody was adhering to social distancing and stuff. There was a report that was made of the party that somebody had called and said somebody broke in their house and broke some stuff, and they didn't. It turned out that one of the people who lived at the house invited a group of people from the party to come and kick it with them, and they ended up breaking stuff. So they had to let it go. Yeah, anyway. Trump wants to delay the presidential election in November. He does not have the authority to do that. That's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to say that, just to let y'all know. In fact, it takes an entire process to do something like that. the mere suggestion of it, I think, says desperation all over it. Now, you know, it's so easy to just start like trash talking Trump, but like just because of like joking matters, you know what I mean? But like when it comes to the seriousness of talking about Trump, I really wish he would get it together and figure out, and whoever is ever president and everybody in their political positions, just do your jobs to the benefit of everyone. He uses Twitter ridiculously. And then some of the things he's saying lately as a president are just very they just sound very weak-minded. Some things are very prideful. Like, we just need better leadership. We need better leadership. We need people in our age bracket. By our age bracket, I'm going to call that 33 to 43. We should really be stepping up and changing things right now. Otherwise, we're just going to keep ending up in the same kind of boat. Because the choices are looking pretty slim to none right now. Moving on. Wrong cue. For some reason, I was thinking the other one. Former presidential candidate Herman Cain passed away this morning, I believe. And that was due to COVID-19 complications. Now, Herman Cain attended the June 20th Tulsa rally for Trump. And in fact, he's seen in pictures like a few people away from him. He ended up catching COVID-19, and he's died to complications of it. Now, he was a stage 4 cancer survivor, so he was viewed as a high risk. So I don't think that they expected the best necessarily for him. They kind of had the expectation things could go bad, and it sounds like they just went that way. So condolences to his family also. Because it sucks when anybody's dying from this shit. Nobody should be dying from this. He was 74 years old. A nursing home in Pennsylvania finds their way back into the news again because they've already been there before for COVID-19 issues. The Brighton Rehabilitation Center in Pennsylvania, it's a rehabilitation and wellness center. They were doing their own experimenting here. In other words, they weren't given the authority by the state or by federal or any other organization to do what they're doing, but they had 435 patients that are positive for COVID-19, or residents that are positive for COVID-19. They've been giving 205 of them hydroxychloroquine and zinc to treat them. Now, you have to have the authority to do something like that. They were making them sign a consent form for the treatment. They're making the residents do that. So it's kind of screwed up. Because there's a lot of education that apparently needs to go on there when it comes to the rights that patients have and residents have, because it doesn't really sound like they gave them much option, but they put 205 people on this regimen. Now, the crazy part, though, is that what I didn't read about in this article is the results of it. Was it helping people? Was it hurting them? That's another problem. That was that apparently the side effects that people were having to it, they also weren't reporting that to anyone either. So it doesn't sound like this place really cares too much about their residents. It sounds more like they're just trying to do things. Or it could be something else. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they had a different perspective on it, said, let's take a risk and chanced it for everybody. I don't know. That just doesn't sound favorable, though. Bob Lazar. You guys need to look up Bob Lazar. If you have not looked up Bob Lazar and seen what his experience is with UFOs and alien technologies, which we already know are there, if you are still in denial about that and calling it a conspiracy theory, call yourself kind of foolish because now multiple governments have acknowledged this, including the United States, who we're waiting for right now to release information that they said that they're going to release. So, Bob Lazar, go look him up. While you're at it, if you're into that conspiracy stuff, really, if you just want to know more of the stuff that's out there for us available that we can study, learn, people are already doing, you can find videos of it. Look up Kesh coils and look up rodent coils. If you're into energy and all that kind of stuff, that's very sciencey. I don't know if you guys are into that. But the alien stuff, though, I think that's kind of in that direction. Bob Lazar, though, has a crazy story. On Netflix, there's a documentary about him. Just search Bob Lazar, I'm sure you'll find it. And I just watched it yesterday. Very interesting things. Like, there's no way he could know the stuff that he knew. unless he was absolutely telling the truth of what he said, which apparently he took 4 lie detector tests in the past to determine that, at least 4, and he passed all of them with flying colors, and everybody said that it must be real. Mr. Rush, have you ever heard of Bob Lazar?
Yes, I have. I love conspiracies.
You know, I've had people tell me, I think yourself included, that I should make this a conspiracy show and just talk about these kind of things.
I would watch it all day, every day, on repeat.
You know, I think that the reason that I can't see myself making it a conspiracy show, I'll talk about conspiracies, but the reason I can't make it a conspiracy show is because I think I would just get too frustrated. I'd probably end up being another Alex Jones, except, you know, minus the racist part and all that. You know what I mean? But
And no, you don't scream like that.
what do you mean? Oh,
You
yeah.
more calm.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more chill than that. But who knows, though? I mean, he's been telling people for a long time about a lot of the stuff going on, and more or less everybody just kind of blows him off.
Because he screams.
I
You
mean,
can't talk to somebody that screams like that.
Yeah, but he also kind of has that voice, though. So I think his regular talking makes him sound like he's always screaming.
Like the
You know
Cookie
what I-
Monster. I'm the Cookie Monster. Go tell you the conspiracy.
Said the Cookie Monster.
Let me
Yeah.
quit.
Okay. All right. So, you know, let me see if I got something else here to plug this last couple of minutes we got of the show. Oh, don't go anywhere without hitting the damn like button or something. Something. Put some sort of response reaction on there for me. Did I tell you we started a Patreon? I started a Patreon account. I'm still trying to set it up, though. There was something in there that it needed that I didn't have yet, and I was like, oh, man, let me do that. So next time, I'll be able to drop the Patreon link so you guys can drop us some bread there, because, you know, every time you guys sponsor the show or donate to the show, it helps us to move things forward and grow the show and become even better for you. Make sure you guys search us on YouTube for last week's show, all the shows before that. Prior to that, I went totally blank for a second. Did you see that? I mean, I look like a deer in headlights.
Would you like me to say your line?
Yeah, what is it? Go ahead and plug us, Mr. Rush. Plug us.
Anytime you want to listen to Just Talking, go to YouTube. Look up Just Talking with Jonathan Lewis. Once you click that button, you will then see Mr. Jonathan Lewis's face with that smile and grin. You push the next button, and there you go. You got to win. What?
Yeah, he gonna rhyme now. Oh, Muhammad Ali back there on Master Control. Okay, now thank you guys for watching. Make sure, like I said, search us on YouTube, Just Talking with Jonathan. Make sure you watch every Thursday at 6 p.m. And if you got something you want to talk about, shoot it to me. I'll dig all through that shit, and then I'll come back and yap to you about it and talk with you. And I might even have you come on the show. It just depends. You know, if it's something interesting enough. Oh, if you know anything about some alien UFO stuff I might not know, I might have you on the show for that. Bada bing, bada boom. Otherwise, hey, thanks for watching. We will see you next week.